Hi everyone, today I want to talk to you about Dehancer Desktop, a standalone application launched by Dehancer that will allow you to process raw photos and obtain an analog looking image. You have all of the benefits and all of the perks that you have within Dehancer for video if you already used Dehancer for video. I'm a big fan. I've been using Dehancer with DaVinci Resolve for some years now. I've been using it a lot. I'm really obsessed with the results I get by using Dehancer. Just so you know, I wasn't paid for this review. I was actually asked by Dehancer if I want to present my honest opinion about Dehancer Desktop, and this is exactly what I did. One of the things that you may be wondering now is if Dehancer Desktop is enough to replace Lightroom or Capture One, for example, if you've been using the Dehancer plugins for Lightroom or Capture One. Basically, what you can do with Dehancer Desktop is just process your raw image and give it this analog look and feel with the help of the film profiles and the print profiles. So it's amazing to do just that, but if you want to correct, I don't know, blemishes or have layers and do all kinds of, more than just process one image, you will need to go through other applications. So today I'm just gonna walk you through how I edit 2-3 images with Dehancer Desktop. As you can see on my screen, these are the raw images and this is how they came out after using Dehancer Desktop. So enjoy the tutorial, and one thing that I want to underline is that you must go through the quick guide before using Dehancer Desktop. It's very important because the quick guide contains information about all of the settings that you will tweak to obtain an analog look for your images, and it explains how all of the settings and how changing one setting or another influences other aspects of the image. It tells you about the grain, it tells you about the film profiles, it tells you about the print profiles and how you can mix and match them. You will see that Dehancer Desktop also gives you a set of presets which you can use to just start from one point and do modifications as you wish. So enjoy the presentation, and by all means try Dehancer Desktop if you are into photography and if you want to obtain that warm analog look and feel for your images. Enjoy.
Okay, so we are in Dehancer Desktop, version 1.00. If you go to settings, you under the software update tab, you can click on check now. You will see that there actually, at the time of this recording, there is a beta version 1.10, but I chose to use a more stable version of Dehancer Desktop, the official version that is out now. Okay, so let's jump right in. I'm not going to go into all of the details about Dehancer Desktop because you have the Dehancer Desktop quick guide at your disposal. It is a 83-page file which will contain all of the information that you have to know about Dehancer Desktop. It goes into the very deep settings, explanations for each setting, each adjustment that you do to your pictures. So I recommend you to thoroughly go through the quick guide from Dehancer Desktop before starting to work in your software. You have the possibility, I'll just quickly show you, with command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have the possibility to rate your images. Okay, so another interesting thing before we get into editing some images, you have the possibility to, for example, select 2 images, right-click, and add the 2 images to a new project. For example, these 2 images, I can add them to a new project. Let's say deserted car. And now within the projects tab, Dehancer Desktop created a deserted car project in which you will find these 2 images. Okay, let's jump right in. Let's right-click and edit. In the moment you do this, you will find yourself in the edit page of Dehancer Desktop. You have the film strip down here. You have the inspector, which can also be set to waveform, histogram, or Parade. I use it with the Parade inspector because that's how I'm used to working in DaVinci Resolve as well. Let's start with this image, for example. You can toggle, the panels, of course, the film strip. This is a before and after of your image. If you click on this icon, zoom in option or fit to screen, you can enable or disable the inspector or a clipping warning. About editing in Dehancer Desktop, you will have to check out, as I was saying, the quick guide, because it's going to explain you in technical details what all of these things do, especially the RAW processor. The thing with the RAW processor is that if you select Dehancer LibRAW, from what I understood, this is going to show you a more unflattering version of your RAW image, in the sense that you are going to have to work a little bit more to take the image to a state in which it looks more like you saw the image on your camera. But you have to be very, very careful with editing your image this way. Auto exposure is chosen here. You can disable auto exposure and choose the exposure you want by sliding this, but you have to be very careful because, as you can see, it's very easy to mess up the highlights with Dehancer LibRAW. I am almost positive that you will be able to obtain better and more neutral looking raw images with the help of Dehancer LibRAW. But to be honest, I always prefer the easier way to get to a very good final image. So that's the reason why I chose Apple, because it kind of shows me the image as I saw it on my camera screen when I took the picture. Of course, I can do small adjustments. There's a lot of other options in the RAW settings tab. You can also change the white balance to custom, do some enhancements here. This picture was actually taken at golden hour around that time, and shadow bias is going to change the level of details in your shadows, but I'm not going to touch that because I have other options to work around. My main concern regarding this image in particular is the highlights, for example, here on the cheeks and here on the shoulder. So the temperature is going to be a bit warmer because, as I was saying, it was this image was taken at golden hour. The tint, I think this would be the correct one. Okay, I can close the raw settings so it doesn't bother me. Next. With regarding the crop, I'm not gonna mess with the crop at the moment. The color profile, this is selected automatically, and I cannot change it. This is a Fuji RAW file because I only shoot with Fujifilm. I suppose it's embedded in the file, and it's gonna choose what is embedded. So this is sRGB. You also have again an exposure compensation slider, and I'm not gonna touch this one. The temperature compensation, which is also pretty subtle. The tint, again, I think this is the defringe. I'm not going to use it. I do not have any chromatic aberration. From what I understood from the quick guide file here, you can also choose to preserve the settings of the source file. Why? Because from what I understood, some presets, the presets are shown here in this part. Some presets, when you click on them and you apply them, they kind of overwrite the source settings. And the recommendation would be, if you manage to take your image to a completely neutral point and you're satisfied with how it looks before you apply the film profiles and everything, you have to press on this small icon to preserve those settings, whatever the preset that you apply on the image is. Another important thing to know before applying film profiles and print profiles to your images is that you have to somehow get to a point in which your image looks perfect and is perfectly balanced and neutrally balanced before applying the film profiles, because all of the film profiles from Dehancer were created so that they were meant to be applied on images with neutral white balance. So you have to correctly balance out your images before applying the film profiles in order to have the most accurate a representation of the profile that you select. At this point, you have the opportunity and you have the possibility to toggle the film profile tool from this checkbox. They categorize the film profiles in color negative, motion picture, color positive, black and white, instant, exotic, and cross. I'm going to leave it to all films to have access to all profiles, but you can choose profiles from here, and it's recommended to pair it with a print profile. For the sake of this presentation, to be honest, I will choose to go with a Kodak Vision 50D. I love this look, and I think it's going to be the right look for this image. We have the Vision 3 200T here. Just a second. So I will go with Vision 3 50D. It also allows you to find presets that combine different film profiles with different print profiles. But I will go with Kodak Vision 50D and 2383. Okay, so from this point on, as you can see, I selected this preset, and now it kind of set some parameters here which were used in order to obtain the Kodak Vision 350D look. The first thing that I'm gonna touch here a little bit is the push-pull setting. One interesting thing from what I read in the quick guide here is that with negative film, if you adjust the push-pull, it's going to affect color and contrast in accordance to what happens with the respective film stock when you over and underexpose the image. But when it comes to positive film, modifying the push-pull setting will influence exposure. So if you push-pull, it's gonna expose or underexpose your image. So I'm going to go with a warmer look in the skin tones here. I think this is enough for the moment. The film developer, this is the part where you can modify the way film acts when it is processed, when you add the developer to your film. So with the help of the developer, as you know, when it comes to actual film developing, you have the possibility to boost the contrasts, to boost the colors of your images, and so on. A lot of details when it comes to film developer. But in this case, I'm going to tone it down a little bit with the contrast. I'm gonna go with a lower contrast because I want a bit more details in the shadow and in the hair area. The gamma correction, I think I will leave it to neutral, and I will just boost the colors just a little bit. So very subtle modifications with the film developer. The film compression, this is where, you know, it kind of mimics actual film. Usually film is a bit more difficult to clip than digital images. So this is what you can simulate here. You can choose the white point of your image and the impact of the film compression and the tonal range in which you do these modifications. With film compensation, you have the opportunity to bring down the highlights a little bit and tone them down and make them more pleasant to the eyes. Increasing the white point, it's gonna make the highlight areas a bit more toned down, a bit softer. And I kind of love this look instead of the one we had before. Look how good it looks. It looks like it's a tool that helps you bring down the highlights and soften the highlights. So the tonal range, everything's okay. The expand tab, this is where you set your black point and the white point of your image, the darkest and the brightest point of the image. I will intensify the black point a little bit because I don't want to have this very washed out. Actually, you can peep the print tab here and check or uncheck the analog range limiter, and this basically adds more headroom for the dynamic range. You can check this one and go back and then modify the black point and the white point of the image. But I think I will go with this brightness and keep like this. Keep the image in a point in which the darks are not very washed out, but not too contrasty, and the white point is away, more further away from clipping, but still brightens the face a little bit more for a more bright look. I kind of like how this looks now. You can select the Luma setting, modifying the black point and the white point in the normal mode. It's going to affect the colors a little bit. In the Luma mode, it's only going to affect the lights, but I kind of like the effect it has in normal mode, so I will leave it like this. In the print tab, by default, as I was saying, I selected the preset from here, which paired the Kodak Vision 50D with the Kodak 2383 print film, but you can actually select Fujifilm if you want. As you can see, this kind of brings the Fujifilm specific look of the print paper. You can also select linear mode, which is actually recommended when you edit in positive films. But since this is a negative film, I will keep the Kodak 2383 print film. Okay, actually you have the Kodak glossy paper if you want to go for the glossy paper print look. But in this case, I will go with a 2383 because this is the look I am looking for. Target white allows you to change the temperature of the print light source. I will actually go towards a colder look because I want the water to be more blue. In reality, the water it looked more blue than it does. Exposure, this is the print exposure. As I was saying, I kind of love it the way it is now. Tonal contrast, I will not touch the tonal contrast. I will leave it to 0. Color density, actually, if you look especially here in the color, allows me to go for a deeper red. The lips and this red stripe on the collar, this is more like it. It kind of gives it a bit more punch. If you look here and here, this is a much better look. Okay, and the analog range limiter, if you turn it off, this is what it was before, this is what it is now. As you can see, with the analog range limiter, we can keep the punchiness of the image, but in the same time, you also have more detail in the shadows. And it also kind of softens the highlights a little bit. Okay, the color head is actually the color correction tool integrated in the image enlargers in photo laboratories. And this is basically how you can color grade your image. You have to do very subtle modifications because they have a pretty big impact. I think I will go just a tad towards the yellow spectrum. Here in this case, I will balance it like just slightly touching the magenta area, the cyan red. As I was saying, this was taken at golden hour, so I will actually touch the red spectrum a little bit. You can see it already has this warm tone in comparison with the image and how it looked in the beginning. I will show you a before and after at the end. So I barely modified these, but overall you can see it has a clear effect on the image. It's almost as if there's something that gives it a warm tone, but it's barely perceptible. You can also gang these. If you press gang, it's going to modify them all at once. For me, this is not relevant at the moment. Film grain. If you look in the film guide at the film grain chapter, you will see information here. It says Dehancer literally reconstructs the shot from within using local color and brightness data combined with a detailed physical model of film emulation. So basically, the film grain reconstructs the entire image. It's not just a grain layer that's put over your image. This is very interesting, and you will see that the grain, the aspect of the film grain changes as you modify colors. This is very interesting. It basically demonstrates that, look, if I go back to color head and I change the colors, you can see the grain, the aspect of the film grain modifying. This is how you can know that the film grain is not just a layer of grain applied over your image. This is amazing, and the film grain that you have in Dehancer is very, very realistic. You have the possibility to choose from a couple of film grain presets, 8mm, 16, 35, and 65. If you choose 8mm 500 ISO, this is going to be pretty violent, but there may be situations in which you are actually going for this look. Of course, the bigger the film stock, the smaller the grain. So I think I will leave it to a 16-50. No, this is too much. 1650. This would be enough. I think this was what was selected initially. 3550 is going to be the sweet spot for me this time. But actually, if you're not satisfied with what these presets offer you, you can go to custom, and this is where you can get into the size, amount, resolution, shadows, midtones, highlights, color. You can actually have the grain show up punchier in the highlights, less in the midtones, more in the shadows and stuff like that. You can actually emulate everything. So, for example, I can have a grain a bit softer in the highlights. As you can see here in the brighter parts, the grain is actually going to be toned down without affecting the quantity of grain in the shadows. So I will tone down the highlights, the midtones just a little bit, and maybe boost the grain in shadow areas. I guess this is a pretty nice look. I think it looks really nice. So I will leave it at that. I'm not going to go into this. Please read the quick guide to know more details about the film type and the film grain mode. Halation, as you can see, it's a custom halation for this preset, but you can actually go and choose. I suppose when I select Super 8, it's going to be ultra violent. Yes, as I was expecting. And if you select no ramjet, I think it's going to be worse. Yes, this is worse. So you can go to something more subtle and tone it down from the custom settings. For example, source limiter. Here you can see the way in which this affects the entire bright area of the face. I will have it somewhere around here. Maybe you can also modify this from the impact tab. I love the way it looks now. Bloom is another amazing feature that helps you bring back the vintage look of film stock. Super 8 is going to blow out the highlights a little bit more than 16, 35, and 65. I think I will leave it to 16 custom and bring down the impact a little bit, but keep the amount of bloom, just soften it a little bit more. Just like that. I think it's enough. Moving on to film damage, you can select the type of film damage you want on your image. Again, you have 8mm, 16, 35, 65. And if you hit refresh, this is going to refresh the type of film damage you have on your image. If you want to go into the details again, you have hairs, scratches, dust. You can have each of them in black or white or both. You can adjust the amounts, the scale, the size. You can absolutely go crazy. I will not use film damage in this moment. You can also enable the overscans, which kind of give you the possibility to show the film sprockets. For my situation here, just like in the case of film damage, I do not want any overscans on my image. You also have the vignette setting, which I think I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. You can also change the size, of course, but I kind of liked the size, the feather. This was good. So yeah, no, this is, I think I am 100% satisfied with the way the image looks. As I was saying, I will toggle the before and after for you. You can also use the total impact slider, so you can soften the edits that you added and make a mix between the original image and the final result. Do a before and after, see the radical changes and the radical look change. I love the look of this image right here. Okay, so after you finished editing, if for example you would like to try a different preset on your image, you have the possibility to right click and add a snapshot. And in the moment you do this, within the snapshots, it's going to save. As you can see, I played with this image a lot before. You can save different looks for this image different snapshots, and when you click on them, it will take you back to an edit that you saved as a snapshot. This is a great way if you changed your mind during the editing process and you wanted to do something a bit more different, but you still don't want to lose the settings that you already applied. You can right click, add a snapshot, and it will keep that moment for you. You can go back to it if the new idea that you had is not going to be the right one. Okay, so now if you want to keep the edits that you applied to your image, you always have to click apply, or you can click on close and it will prompt you if you want to save the changes you made to the image. It's not going to modify your original file that you are editing. This is just an edit that the application will keep in mind or remember regarding your image. So I will click apply. And one more thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that you have the possibility to export a preset based on the settings you applied to an image. For example, all of the edits that I've made to this image can be exported to a new preset and sent to someone, for example, or I don't know, publish it online and allow people to download a preset. In order to do this, you have to create a new preset with current edits. You have to name the preset. Since I made edits to an existing preset from Dehancer, it's already selecting a name for this one. So you can add any name you want, author name, and it's gonna be visible within your favorites. So you can actually add presets to favorites, and you can also export the presets outside of the program. I can select this image that I edited, click Command-Shift-C, copy the edits, and Command-Shift-V, paste them over a different image. This actually looks pretty cool with this stock added, but I will not go into a full edit again, but I will reset. If you click on this one, it's going to reset your image to the original form. And actually, I'm going to go to Kodak Vision 250D with 2383 paper stock, print paper. Where is it? 250, 2383. Yeah, this is, I love the look. I will actually work on the push-pull. This is amazing. Okay, I will keep this one. Contrast boost, I will bring the contrast down just a little bit so that I don't lose details in the shadows here. The color boost, I will boost the colors a little bit. Okay, the film profile. Yeah, I finished with this one. The film developer, I just finished with this one. Film compression. I actually want to make sure that the sky, I want to bring the sky down a little bit. I don't want the sky to pop out so much, since in the lower part of the image we have this deserted car. Okay, the color density, this is okay. Expand the black point. I kind of like the faded look in the dark areas of this image. White point, this would be more satisfactory to my eye. I think I will go with the warmer tone here rather than the colder one. Yeah, this warmer tone gives it a more, I don't know, even if it's warm and not cold, I kind of feel like this is a bit more dramatic than the cold one. Exposure, I kind of like it like this. Tonal contrast, just a little bit of tonal contrast makes a car stand out a little bit more. And you kind of tend to look more at the car now that the contrast is a bit more popping. Color density, no, I think I will leave. Actually, no, I will just touch on the color density. Analog range limiter, in this case, I will leave it off. The color head, I will turn this one on. And I want a bit more green hints like this. I think this is enough. And I will push the reds a little bit more and the greens a little bit more. I kind of like this one a lot right now. The grain, I love this grain for this image, but I think the halation will bring something very special out of this image. Yeah, as I was suspecting, but 35 millimeter. And Diffusion. I want it to be a bit more subtle, but I want it to be there. This is about the right amount of halation, which I find quite natural and not very forced or exaggerated. Look at what this image looks like now. I absolutely love this one. The bloom is on right now, I think is quite enough. Oh, sorry. Yep, this is sufficient and natural looking. I don't want it to be exaggerated in any way. Okay. I don't want film damage. I do not want overscan on this one. The vignette is just right. I think this image is absolutely perfect. By the way, if you double click the image, it kind of fit the full screen. If you double click, it's going to be 100%, I think. So this looks amazing. I'm going to apply the changes and copy the changes, go to this one. And for some reason, I saw that if I open the image and Command Shift V and paste the edits, it's not going to apply them. I'm not sure if this is a bug, a Dehancer bug. I discovered that I have to close this. It says save changes done, but there are absolutely no changes made to this. As you can see, I will press cancel and go through these. Nothing is ticked. Even though it says edits applied, it doesn't apply the edits. So I think this is a bug, Dehancer. If you're looking at this one, maybe you can fix it in the next release. But I will close, hit do not save, and if I Command Shift V and paste here, as you can see, it pasted. See, it pasted all of the edits. Vision 3 200T with the 2383 print profile, I think is more suitable for this image. I absolutely love how it looks. But I will bring out the blues here because I want the gray to be gray and still keep the warm tone of the image. Actually, I think this is not going to need too much because the film stock, this is perfect for this particular image. But I will go to print tonal contrast and pop this out a little bit. Increase the exposures just so you can see more of that hand right there. And go for a tad colder here in the target white. No analog range limiter, I need this pop. This is perfect the way this is. I love it. So now that all of the images are edited, you can select all of the 3 images, right click, export, and you will have to select the destination. You have the possibility to export JPEG 100% quality or TIFF files, and you can select the bit depth. I will export JPEGs, start processing. It's going to process the images, and you can reveal the destination folder, and you will have them here. Amazing, as you have seen in Dehancer, these images are, I find them just perfect. This actually looks so satisfying. I love this one. Yeah, so this would be it, guys. This is how I used Dehancer to edit these images. So if you enjoyed this, I'm encouraging you to download Dehancer Desktop trial version, try it out, and then choose the subscription that best fits your needs. Thank you so much for following me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.